If you ask me, this emotional explosion is going to cause more long term damage to our core families than any physical trap ever could. We are talking about Emma and Gio. We are talking about a love story that is about to cross a permanent line from which there is absolutely no turning back. For months, we have watched Emma and Gio navigate the typical, frustrating hurdles of young love. We have seen the petty jealousies, the lingering shadows of ex lovers, and the constant uncertainty about where they stand with one another. It has been a roller coaster of teenage angst and young adult confusion, but all of that trivial drama is about to be completely wiped off the map. A single, seemingly insignificant moment has fundamentally altered the trajectory of their entire relationship, plunging them into waters that are far too deep, far too fast, and incredibly dangerous for their age. Let us talk about that jaw dropping moment that shifted everything in the blink of an eye. Emma was standing there, completely caught off guard, watching Gio hold baby Phoebe. Now, we have seen Gio in many different lights. We have seen him as the charming boyfriend, the confused young man, and the fiercely loyal friend. But seeing him gently cradling a tiny, fragile infant, that was an absolute game changer. The lighting in that scene was almost ethereal, highlighting the tender, incredibly gentle way he looked down at that baby. The absolute softness in his eyes, the careful way he supported the baby's head, it was enough to melt anyone's heart into an absolute puddle. For Emma, this was not just a cute visual, it was a profound, life altering awakening. You could physically see the wheels turning in her head as she stood frozen in the doorway. She could not take her eyes off him. In that split second, Gio transformed in her mind. He was no longer just a boyfriend, no longer just a guy she was dating for fun. He looked like a protector. He looked like a father. He looked like a man ready to take on the heavy, beautiful burdens of the world. It was a visual representation of everything a woman secretly hopes to find in a lifelong partner. Emma was completely mesmerized, paralyzed by the sheer beauty of that domestic innocent moment. It was a long buried secret desire suddenly rising to the surface of her conscious mind, completely uninvited but entirely welcome. She realized that the love she felt for him was not just a fleeting spark, it was a deep, burning flame that could sustain a lifetime. But that's not even the craziest part. The true shocker is what started happening inside Emma's mind right after that beautiful observation. We are not just talking about a fleeting thought or a passing moment of endearment that she would forget by dinner time. No, guys, Emma went off the deep end into a full blown, incredibly vivid fantasy about her own future. She stood there, staring at Gio and Phoebe, and literally pictured a complete life with him. She saw a house, a warm, loving home filled with laughter, and a life built solidly together against the world. And the most heart stopping, breathtaking detail of her daydream? She pictured a little girl, a beautiful daughter of their very own, running around the living room and looking exactly like baby Phoebe, but with Gio's smile. This is a massive, earth shattering psychological leap for a young woman who, just weeks ago, was stressing over entirely different, much more trivial things. We are so used to seeing these kids worry about exams, social circles, and weekend plans. But Emma completely bypassed all of those normal young adult milestones. She leaped straight over the typical phases of dating and landed directly in the middle of intense domestic bliss. She convinced herself, right then and there, that Gio is not just a temporary romance. She realized he is the absolute endgame. He is the man she wants to build a lasting legacy with. The sheer intensity of her daydream was staggering, proving that her feelings have deepened to a level no one, not even Emma herself, saw coming. Though, but that's not even the craziest part. Now, you would think a young girl having such intense, overwhelming, and frankly terrifying thoughts would keep them securely locked away in her private diary, right? You would think she would be absolutely terrified of scaring her young boyfriend away by bringing up massive commitments like marriage and babies. Well, throw all of that logical thinking right out the window. Emma, in a move of absolute, reckless bravery that left me completely speechless, decided to open her mouth and confess every single detail to Gio. Guys, my jaw was literally on the floor. Instead of playing it cool, instead of casually talking about their next date or complaining about past relationship drama to test the waters, she walked right up to him, looked him dead in the eye, and laid all her cards on the table. She completely bypassed the games. She confessed with a trembling voice but absolute certainty that she is thinking about marriage. She confessed that She wants to build a family with him, and not in some distant, vague future, but in the near future. Can you even begin to imagine the sheer audacity and courage it takes to say those heavy, life altering words out loud at their age? It was a bombshell revelation that completely shifted the dynamic of their relationship forever. She basically handed him her entire heart, her soul, and her vision for the future on a silver platter. She risked absolute humiliation, rejection, and heartbreak if he did not share her vision. She put everything on the line in one single, breathless confession. But that's not even the craziest part. The absolute biggest jaw dropping twist of this entire emotional roller coaster is exactly how Gio reacted to this massive confession. Any normal young guy in his position, upon hearing his teenage girlfriend talk about marriage and babies, would have panicked. Uh, we all fully expected him to nervously laugh it off, make a quick excuse about being too young, or literally run for the hills to escape the pressure. But Gio completely defied every single expectation we had of him. He stood his ground. He did not flinch, he did not pull away, and he certainly did not mock her vulnerability. Instead, he looked right back into Emma's eyes, took a deep breath, and confessed his own deeply hidden truth. He admitted that holding little Phoebe had profoundly affected him too. He acknowledged that the physical weight of that tiny baby in his arms had triggered something primal inside him, forcing him to think seriously about what he truly wants in life beyond the immediate present. And guys, he told Emma the words she was desperately praying to hear. He can absolutely see a happy, beautiful future with her. He validated every single one of her terrifying dreams. He admitted that despite their young age and the chaos surrounding them, the connection they share is incredibly rare, incredibly powerful, and absolutely worth fighting for. It was a moment of pure, unadulterated romance that completely solidified them as a united front. They basically promised themselves to each other right there, sealing their fate. But that's not even the craziest part. Here is the brutal, unforgiving truth that is going to wreak devastation on this beautiful, innocent dream. The true climax of this entire storyline is not their sweet mutual confession. It is the absolute, terrifying war that is about to explode the second their families find out about these plans. If you ask me, Emma and Gio are currently living in a fragile, beautiful glass bubble, and the adults in this town are standing right outside holding giant, heavy hammers, completely ready to smash it to pieces. The moment these two young lovers announce their intentions, the moment they even hint at getting married or wanting to start a family at their current age, they are going to face a tidal wave of furious, unrelenting opposition. We are talking about a generational clash of epic, destructive proportions. Emma's family is going to absolutely lose their minds. They will accuse her of acting on temporary, irrational emotions. They will scream that she is throwing her precious youth away, that she has absolutely no idea what real adult life is actually like. They will see this as a massive, catastrophic mistake that they must prevent at all costs. They will try everything in their power to make her see reason, completely invalidating the profound love she feels in her heart. And Gio's family, let me tell you, they will be just as ruthless, if not more so. They will demand that he focus on his education, his career, his financial stability, and his individual future before even thinking about tying himself down to a wife and a child. Prop. They will view Emma as a distraction, a hindrance to his immense potential. They will argue that he is throwing away his freedom for a teenage fantasy. The entire town will judge them behind their backs and to their faces. Their own friends will doubt them, calling them crazy, reckless, and hopelessly naive. The narrative of their romance is going to completely and violently shift. It will no longer be about petty jealousy, romantic dates, and ex lover drama. It is going to become a massive, heartbreaking, and exhausting battle against the entire world. Emma and Gio are going to be forced into an impossible corner, having to choose between the families they were born into and the family they so desperately want to create together. The emotional pressure will be suffocating. The attempts by their loved ones to tear them apart will be relentless, cruel, and deeply personal, all disguised under the false pretense of protecting them. We will see screaming matches in living rooms, tearful pleas, and possibly even harsh ultimatums that threaten to sever family ties forever. Can you imagine the psychological toll this is going to take on two young kids who just want to love each other? They are going to be tested in ways they never imagined. Every single flaw in their relationship will be magnified by the adults around them, constantly whispering doubts into their ears. The pure unconditional love they felt in that quiet moment with Phoebe is going to be dragged through the mud by the very people who are supposed to support them unconditionally. It is a tragic irony that the adults who have made countless mistakes in their own messy love lives will be the first ones to cast stones at this young, hopeful couple. And that, my friends, leaves us with the most agonizing cliffhanger of all as we wait for the next episodes to drop. As Emma and Gio stand there, wrapped in their beautiful, innocent dream of a shared future, holding on to each other for dear life, they have absolutely no idea of the monstrous, destructive storm brewing just outside their door. Who is going to be the first person to find out their secret? Which family member is going to overhear this massive confession and take it upon themselves to actively and maliciously sabotage this relationship for their own good? Will Emma and Gio's incredibly strong bond survive the vicious, coordinated attacks from the people they love the most? Or will the crushing, brutal weight of reality shatter their young dreams into a million unfixable pieces? The battle lines are currently being drawn in the sand, and the casualties of this impending family war are going to be absolutely devastating. You will not want to miss a single second of the fallout, because nothing in this town will ever be the same again.